Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Right, it's been a while since I came on live, and I had some quite excited to share with you some updates to the property market. So if you're working now or having on lunch, if you can stay tuned, that'd be perfect, guys. Okay, and then those that watch on the replay, well, please comment in the section below. And if those of you are staying at home, I hope I'll be good company. Okay, stop your work and listen to this. All right, so it's been a while since I came on live, and I wanted to just share with you what's happening in the market today, how you can prepare yourself moving forward. All right, and then if you have any questions now, if you're available, just pop up in the comment section. I'm just monitoring two screens again as usual. Right. Okay, let me just share with you a few updates that I actually worked on. This is my PowerPoint. Okay. All right. So I think everyone knows in the news today, but more or less I want to go into some practical solutions that you're able to assist for yourself and your family. If you move on now for your HDB updates, this is what's happening right now. This was in the news yesterday, right? This is one of the things that I mentioned, I think, in my last update during the webinar class, right? That I'm very concerned about this because this is the basic housing that we have in Singapore. And as of yesterday, we have not even finished the quarter yet. As of from August till now, last year till now, 1 year, the prices of HDB had actually increased 13.7%. All right, it's a 14th consecutive month climbing. And if I were to just use the old slides that I did, and I include here, you realize that for the first quarter this year, we actually increased a 3%, and then we increased another 3%. And yesterday, the index actually climbed up to 152.2, and that will actually translate to a 4% increase already, right? And we have not even finished a quarter yet, meaning that for this year, we have already hit 10% increase for HDB prices. And I think you were just going to power through because in the last news, you have heard some BTO projects will have been again delayed, all right, because the developers, or rather the main cons actually, contractors actually went bust, right? And this is going to have a renewed fuel in terms of the demand moving into the HDB sector. And I think this is something that as first-time buyers or as repeat buyers, you got to really consider now the type of competition that you're going to have, all right, and then how you can actually plan forward. Yep. All right. So the strategy that I think that that you should consider doing is that after meeting some of you, I just realized that a lot of you are still looking to selling your HDB first. Okay, so this group of families are those of you who are actually looking to upgrade within the HDB room types or downgrade within the HDB room types, right? In today's market, you really do not have to worry about your selling. I would rather you be concerned yourself about your buying, right? Because the buying side has a lot of competition. Okay, so a story that I'm going to share with you is that today you might be very delighted selling at a very good price, okay, and your horror will start when you are going out to look for a property and you realize that you cannot find a property that you like fast enough before you have to submit your papers for your selling. Okay, so as far as possible, purchase first and sell later. All right, do not try not to compromise that unless you really have no choice and you don't have the 5% upfront. Okay. Next will be actually the role of a salesperson has changed. What do I mean by this? So just an example on show you, this happened to me and my customers just last month actually. I think salesperson are doing their best to do their job, right? They're trying to save some money if they represent you as a buyer. So I think as a seller, salesperson, it's more or less important for you to plan out how you're going to get your next house. To me, that's more important. The selling is really easy. And then, but if you represent the buyers, for you buyers out there, right? Please do not try as far as possible to save that $1,000 to $3,000 or even $5,000 for that matter. Especially if you have it, right? Because what I experienced was that I had two offers. In fact, I had a couple of offers, right? And the issue is because presently we are only subjected to allow 5 packs of viewing, and therefore sometimes the pace of offers comes in really fast. The competition comes in really fast, and the other buyer got the unit, okay, was because they offered at my asking price. Whereas the other agent was trying to save some money and offered $2,000 lower. If it had been the same price, I can ask them to give a new offer again and she will still have a chance, isn't it? Okay. So for buyers, you are now entering a up market, okay, whereby to me, being able to secure that house that you like and your family likes is more important. If you're willing to pay the cost of it, it's just a little bit more, even you give it a maximum of additional $10,000, depreciate that by the next 5 years. At least you have already gotten your unit, all right? Okay. Oops, it's just hanging on the wall. The issue, work from home, right? Okay, strangers come in, my dog start barking, cannot time it, right? Apologies for that. Okay, so next thing you look at is that, yeah, so as I was saying, I think empower your salesperson, advise them, do not blame them, and then you feel that, oh, they never save me any money. Okay, their job right now is to really get you your house, okay? Moving on, private updates. Okay, what's happening in the private sector? The scary thing about the private sector today is that we are entering the same market as a HDB. Okay, what do you mean by that? On the ground, we can feel that the demand is rising. Units that used to be really quiet has a renewed demand for it, right? There's more attention coming to the market. And the demand is really high and really not much supply. So if you're looking to buy a private property, you also realize that it's very true. And also do not be upset, all right? And that the sellers consistently change in their asking price. Because, excuse me, this is what's happening even to my customer, right? The reason is because they are looking to also buy a next property. And when they confirm the price on their selling, when they start to look at the next property, they realize that the sellers has also increased in their purchase. And therefore, on this side, they're selling, they also increase the price. Okay, so I think the same advice I would give is that if you're able to just buy a private property that makes sense, it is not overpriced, and you know that there is still some room for potential growth in the future, please go for it. Okay. Now, the question now is then, why is this happening? And for all of you who have not bought anything yet, all right, and if you think to yourself, are prices going to drop? All right, so these are some of the things that I wanted to highlight to you for you to take a look. Okay, is this. So this is what I actually pulled out from HProp. Okay, this is just basically an overview on a high level ground. I have not filtered this in terms of balance lease, in terms of age, leasehold or freehold. Okay, so what I did here is just basically taking the entire Singapore new launch market and the resale market for condominiums and apartments. That this doesn't include ECs, okay? So you can see basically since the middle of 2017, the orange color are the new launch prices, right? And the blue color will actually be the prices of the resale market. And obviously you can see that the price gap has started to really widen, right? And of course, when it is widened, you're talking about the possible risk that the buyer would actually think about. What if they buy at a very high price, they cannot exit, all right? Is buying a resale property makes more sense for them, okay? And therefore, naturally, the resale market also slowly picked up, right? This is one reason. The next reason I'll look at is basically when I look at the news and then I actually saw some of the articles, and I think it really makes a lot of sense. And this would be the cost of construction, all right? So this was taken out earlier today. Yeah, I'm just showing you the graph whereby the price of copper has increased, and I pull up the price index here, and this is actually since early 2020. And you can see that the price of copper has actually jumped, I think almost what, 70-80%. Today at 4.338 US dollars. All right. And you realize that this is actually generally over the board, yeah. We're even talking about steel. Steel has increased from early 2020s all the way now, right, to 5,000 plus. And then you move on to even iron ore. Iron ore has increased more than 50% I think it was more than doubled actually, and it corrected and came back down. But in general, everything has gone up, and these are the raw materials that the developer would need to do the construction, right? All right, this is aluminum from 1,000 plus all the way to $2,000 US dollars. So I think all this generally would mean that if you're buying a brand new condominium or a brand new cluster house or a developer sale for a landed property, the prices has all gone up. All right, it is very unlikely that the prices will come down, and because of that, where the prices is more or less quite stable for the new launch market at this price. All right, and it is too unaffordable for most buyers. Definitely, if they're looking to upgrade, they will still go into the resale market, and therefore you have a renewed interest in the resale market. More demand, less supply, naturally the price also goes up. All right. So what are the reasons to the continued bullish market? All right. Basically, this is called inflation. Now, I had this argument or this debate with one of my customers at the time because he's talking about, hey, what is the inflationary rate of Singapore? 1-2+% only, right? But the thing is that how they derive these are based on staple food, isn't it? Your coffees and so forth. But you realize at different industries, the inflation rate is very different. I mentioned this before. If you look at our life policies, our health policies, our medical policies, they're inflating and increasing in price of 10% a year. Until now, they have came into agreement where everyone has to downgrade, share the cost. If not, then it is unsustainable, right? Now, for this area of inflation for property, it's also not at 1-2%. Doesn't make sense. It's increasing so fast. All right. And one of the reasons because of the cost of construction, like I mentioned earlier, and now also because of the cost of manpower. So if you didn't listen to the national rally, all right, I will ask you to go to YouTube, listen to it, right? They also have stated that they are going to, hang on. Okay, yeah. So they are going to increase the cost of cleaners. And Prime Minister has already mentioned that everyone has to share in this cost. And basically what he means is that businesses will then have an increased cost. They will also increase the cost of the products. And therefore consumers must also share in this cost, all right? Naturally, this is also the meaning towards, this goes also towards real estate, right? And if there is, again, if they do not increase the supply of units in the market, there is going to be a continued bullish market. And okay, so this is really quite worrying. And if you haven't entered the market yet, the correct unit, all right, be prepared to pay slightly more. Okay. Yep. Thanks all of you who have joined me and listening to me. Okay. Yeah. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to just comment immediately here. All right. I know some of you has came and listened to me now, but I do not know. Okay, like I said, I'm not really a IT person, so I do not know who was looking at my live stream. So anyway, appreciate you listening. All right. So what's this strategy if let's say you're also in this particular situation, looking to sell your condominium or looking to buy a HDB or perhaps a condominium? Okay, so depending on your situation, because now there is a huge difference in terms of the timeline of selling your HDB property and selling your condominium. All right, the transaction timeline is very different. And if you're reliant of the monies you need within your own present property, then please plan out properly, right? Because you need the money to transfer over. Okay, so timing will be very sensitive. Yep. And if the situation permits you to buy first before selling, that'd be totally awesome. So what do I mean by that? If you're those that are actually looking to just buying for own stay, buying one property and selling, and then buying another property, right? Under two names, and if you have the resources to pay the ABSD first, please go for it, right? Buy first, sell later, and then apply for the remission. You will definitely get a remission. But do understand, the remission is only applicable, again, this is very important, to Singaporeans and married couples. All right, it must be Singaporeans and they must be a married couple. It's not and or, it's and married couples. It is not applicable for PRs. It is not applicable, for example, if you own a property under two names first, and now you want to buy one property under an individual name, the wife's name or husband's name, you are not eligible for a remission, okay? Because there is not a matrimonial house. So just be careful and make sure you get the right advice, all right? So if, as far as you can, if you have the resources, buy first because you're buying your own home. I think that's very important. Do understand selling is easy, even for a condominium, right? If you're asking the right price, if you're asking for a crazy price, it will still take a while, okay? Right. And for those of you who, for example, if you're not able to, and then you're selling, you're trying to sell at a good price, yet at the same time, you're throwing in a lot of terms and conditions, it's going to be difficult, I would say, for you to get the property off the market. What do I mean by that? If you're selling a property and you're asking for a late completion, right? Maybe a normal completion is about 3 months. You're asking for 5 to 6 months completion, all right? And that would deter buyer if they're looking for own stay, or if they're looking for as an investment, then you must be willing to pay the rental, isn't it? Okay. So all these things has to be discussed before you launch a property for sale, right? And if you wanted to have some negotiation power, yet you're not willing to bring your price down to kind of let more appease and meet in the middle ground with the buyers, you'll find that your property will continue to be stuck in the property market. If I were you, I would ask you to open yourself at least to a rental outside for the next 1 year, all right, if possible, and sell a property at a price where you can just complete normally, right? So at least there is no strings attached. If they want to buy a property, if it's for own stay or for rental, then it's totally up to them. Okay, right? So I think this makes more sense if you can. So at least your transition to your next property is going to be a little bit more hassle-free. Okay. Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining, guys. Right, those of you who have missed out, okay, please listen to the replay again. And if you have any questions, just comment below and I'll reply. Right. Okay. So now the magic question, right? What to buy? Okay. Now, whenever we ask ourselves what to buy, I will always try to ask a series of other questions. Okay. Now, what are the series of other questions? First, what is your timeline to hold on to this property? Is it going to be a quick flip that you're looking for 3 years? All right. Are you looking for 5 years timeline, 8 or 10 years timeline? All right. This is very important. Next, once you have already answered this question between yourself and your spouse and your partners, whoever that you're in this venture with, right? Who would be your target audience or the profile of your buyers at the time? Okay, who are you selling to? Right, this is important. You do not want to open up a shop and bring in goods if you do not know who you're going to target, isn't it? All right, so there will be a mismatch. So you must be very clear the district that you're buying, the area you're buying, who's living there, and are your target audience going to be upgraders? Are you going to be PRs, a small family, large family, or are you going to target foreigners? Okay, what's your target group? Everyone has a different type of buying purchasing power and different type of requirements they're looking for, right? So this brings me to the third question. What will be those buyers' requirements at that time, right? I do not want you to buy a property and get stuck with it. So these are the questions you're going to ask, because ultimately, unless you're telling me that, okay, I want to buy this property, I'm going to sit here for the next 50 years, and then this doesn't really relate to you. But if you're looking to at least make a profit from it, move on to another property, right? Or upgrade the property in the future, or at least have that option for yourself, then you got to ask yourself these questions. So what are the requirements of the buyers at the time? So what do I mean by that? Will bay windows still be something that people want to consider next time? All right. Or would they like a full length window from floor to ceiling? Or the older units without balcony, right? Full living area, livable area, right? Is it something that people are looking for? Okay. So these are the questions you could ask yourself, because every district is different. Buyers are all different. Okay. And then finally, what do you think will be the affordability at the time for this group of buyers? So take, for example, if I intend to hold this property for the next 5 years, right? Who am I going to sell it to next time? All right. Are they going to be large families, small families, or is it an investable? Are you talking about investment? So one of the real questions today is that, for example, I do not really agree to buy a one bedroom unless you're looking to buy that, leave the property there for the longer term as an investment property and rental. If you're looking for capital gains, I think it's going to be a bit risky to make good capital returns for a one bedroom, right? So then you ask yourself, if you're buying that, what is your buyer going to be like, right? If you have small families, what type of investments are they looking for? What type of home are they looking for? Okay, and based on the quantum of price that you're buying today, and with the possible profits next time, is it something that the buyers are able to afford, for example? All right, are there any condo or project that actually has this benchmark price in the future, or is not? All right, please do not bank on the notion that land prices will always keep increasing, right? Though it is true, but in some cases it is not. For example, if you read the papers on the Jana Anak area at Beauty World, right? That place was very disappointing in terms of the land bids. URA extended it by another 3 months, but in the end, there were no new contenders. I think in total, they only received 4 or 5 offers, of which 3 actually belongs to Far East and their partners, right? And they bought at a price which was very reasonably low, right? At a 15%, based on my calculation, at a 15% profit next time, they can sell anything at about 1850. And this is going to have a direct impact, guys, to the link at Beauty World and to the Floret freehold, right? Because this is going to be a mixed commercial with shopping centers at the bottom also, right? But we do not know what is the price going to be like next year, because it does not mean that if the developer buys a land cheap, they have to sell it cheap, right? If the sentiments of the market is still really strong next year, then I wouldn't be surprised that they will launch a property at 2,000 plus per square feet, right? So this is where the risk comes in, because the profit margin become too wide. They can have the same strategy by bringing the price and have a discount for the higher floor units, something like what I explained before in what's that? One Pearl Bank, right? Yeah, at One Pearl Bank. Okay, so something you got to just be concerned about. But if let's say they're really looking to offload the project as fast as possible, then you will create an arbitrage position, exactly like how Sims Urban and Penrose actually offered the last time. Okay, now once you have analyzed that, then you know that, hey, this actually makes sense. There are some price support in this area. The property price has a good potential of going up in future. Then go ahead and buy the unit. All right. But if you need any more help, just reach out to me. If not, then the magic question then again is what to buy, right? Now, how to pick the right property that limits your downside risk while giving you upside potential. Now, this is very important, and this is how I actually create my framework today, bringing my buyers to buy property, and I'm pleased to let you know. I haven't read this email yet, but we just closed a unit. Can you imagine a 3-bedroom, right? Future MRT station, and we got it for only $1,000+ per square feet, right? In total, that property was only cost us $940,000. Okay, so and this is in growth areas, right? You have growth drivers where people are not looking at property now, and I'm bringing my customers to look at this area, and I actually rationalize why this makes sense, and then why is it that the downside risk there is really very the percentage of it happening is very low. The upside is even to me is really very high. Okay, so I'll stop here today because I'm preparing the slides for this particular one that I'm going to share with you again, all of you live. Give me another 1 to 2 weeks to get it done. Okay. I am busy now because, as you know, my other company, right, Glitzy Fingers, doing beauty and manicure, pedicures, and so forth. We are celebrating our 10th anniversary next month, October, right? So all my female followers, okay, in this group, please come on by, check out our Instagram at Glitzy Fingers. We're very busy preparing for this big month, all right? A lot of giveaway. We have spin the wheel offers. We have prizes giving out, okay? And then, yeah, I think it's just going to be great. Do follow us on Instagram or Facebook and then make your appointments, all right? Okay, with that, I wish you guys a great day and a blessed weekend. Okay. See you now.